This is the Shadow derailleur. I'm going to set up. I haven't got the cable in yet. It's brand new. It's a newish gear hub on the back. So first off, I'm going to set up the stops. With the chain off, what we've got to try and do is the top cog here has to be in line with the small, this small sprocket here, and that should be near enough in, and then take it right the way across, so again this top cog here is in line with this one here, and then that should be far enough in, and then if it needs slight adjustment once you've got the chain back on again, then basically that's all you do, and then put the chain and the wire back on again. But we'll line this up now. This derailleur has a different stop setup than the other derailleur I showed in another video. The actual stops are on here, and you're going to want a screwdriver, a posi driver for this one. So that's the difference between that. So we've got the bottom one aligned, and now we're going to have to shunt that over and make sure the jockey wheel is aligned with the big one at the back. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but if I pull that across, that the bottom jockey wheel is in line with the larger of the gear rings. That's where it should be. Once you have them both aligned again, then you can put the chain back on. Another little tip: when you're putting the chain back through the derailleur arm, there's a little piece of crossbar metal here. It has to go over the top. A lot of people make a mistake and put them in and then do the chain up and realise it's the wrong way in. So it's got to go over that bar, not under it. Okay, otherwise it'll rub on it. So that's the chain back on, and now to see whether it's sitting, and I'll put the gear wire back on and we'll adjust that. Just to recap now, because this is now completely done and the gears are set in, without the chain on, put the derailleur on and check that the bottom jockey wheel of the arm, which is that one, is in line with this bottom gear ring, because it's at rest when it's on. That's where it's going to stop anyway, because it's under spring. So when you're changing gear, it's pulling it up, okay, under tension. So when it's down without the wire on it, it's going to be at rest. On the stop it should be on, so it should be in line with the smallest ring and the top jockey wheel, dead in line. You can do that with your eye. Then you can, if you want, put the wire on and take it up to the top. I did it with my hand, and then you just make sure that when it's up on the top here, the jockey wheel is in line with the large wheel, and then you can put the chain back on, and then you can adjust it from the end there on the adjuster to make sure it's changing up and down correctly. And now I'm going to give a test ride to make sure it's all working right. However, just to give you a little tip, the two adjusting screws which are here, the top one is for the small ring and the bottom one is for adjusting the larger ring. Okay, so it's the bottom one for the larger, top one for the small one, and that should do you really. And it's just when you're out on the road, adjusting it with the adjuster to make sure that that's holding it onto each gear, because remember, that is what holds it. The ratchet, it's the gear ratchet that holds it onto the actual each gear that you're going to put it on. Well, after I finished the video the other day. I decided to tune in the gears, and I just couldn't get them to work. I mean, I just couldn't get them to work. They were just amazing. They were so out and it just wouldn't go in, and I spent 4 hours playing with it and I just could not work out what was going on. It got really frustrating. In fact, I nearly threw a wobbly. So what I decided to do was I put a complete new cable running, outer and inner, and I changed the adjuster, and then it dawned on me something I hadn't adjusted, and that was the gap here between, it was right back here. I mean, it was miles away from the cob, and I think basically the combination of the three items has made it work. So I've actually cracked it, but the more I adjusted this closer to the actual gear rings, the sweeter the gear changing became. I thought I was getting too near it, but actually the nearer I got, the better it was, and that really is the sweet spot. I've got that now. No hesitation on any gears whatsoever. They all go in, they all jump in fact. You can feel the chain flying off and whacking into the gear, and there's hardly any adjustment on the new adjuster. And the new cable run, I think, made a difference as well, because I mean, I made sure it was the cable, there was no really sharp bends anywhere the cable went in, and I run it round almost identical to how I have it, and made sure, like I say, there was no bends in it at all. So I'm quite pleased really that, well, I'm bloody relieved really that it's actually working. Yeah, so learnt lessons, and that's one of them, is the gap between the jockey wheel and the actual gear itself. As soon as that was done, it started to behave itself. Anyway, I hope it really helps, and that's the end of it really. That's all the running gear changed. That's the middle ring changed, the guide wheel, the chain, it's a new gear pack, new derailleur, new cable, inner and outer, and a new adjuster. The only thing I haven't changed is the toggle, which, okay, it's just a toggle. It might have a bit of wear in it, but it doesn't seem to be a problem.